Hello and welcome to another Game Pit Stop video. This one is for Mr. Cabbagehead's garden, designed by Todd Sanders and coming from Ludicreations, playing 1 to 2 players. This was originally a print and play in 2016, but Ludicreations have remade it in 2018 in its current format. So the story here is on the box cover there. You can see Mr. Cabbagehead himself. And all he wants to do is be left alone to plant his vegetables and try to win the village competition. But the nosy neighbours along here have got other ideas. Now, they want to get in on Mr. Cabbagehead's action and stop him winning the prize and win it for themselves. So they're going to pilfer or try and do something else nasty to him. Let's talk about what's on the table here. So I have here my garden, which is a 3x6 area where I'm going to plant those cards, those vegetable cards. Along the top, as I said, are the nosy neighbours, which are going to try and affect us in some way. Here we have our beehive and our bee tokens. Bees are going to allow us to take cards from the selection, which is here. The stack of cards, which is going to be used to replenish the selection, and this here is Eudora Brassica. She's going to allow us to take one of the cards that we might not want in terms of trying to score at the end, place it under her. It's going to be minus points, but then you get to plant in that place again. Before we start going through a round, I just want to show you the sort of anatomy of a card. So as you can see on these beans here, these beans are worth 6 points if they are adjacent to another set of beans. There are 5 of these bean cards in the deck, and this number 2 here is directly linked to the nosy neighbours. All cards have got a random number value on them, and that again is something to do with when the nosy neighbours turn up, and we'll talk about that later. So on a round, quite simply, you're going to choose one of the available cards and plant it in your garden. So if I were to take these beans here, that's the first card, I must pay a bee token into the pot. The pepper, which is next, that's going to cost me nothing, so I can just pick that up with no additional cost. And if I were to pick up the pumpkin, I must take a bee, so there must be a bee available for me to take if I want that pumpkin. So let's say that, yep, you know what, I'm going to take those beans. I'm going to pay in my bee because I've already got a set of beans there. Happy days. Next up, in a 2-player game, and I am talking about the 2-player variant here in this video, we get to throw away one of these cards. So obviously you're going to be looking at your opponent, seeing what they're collecting, what they're moving towards. And let's just say, for argument's sake, that I don't want my opponent to get hold of this pumpkin. In rounds 1 to 2, they will be put on the bottom of the deck, and in the last round, the 3rd round, they are going to be chucked out of the game. Then the person who's the lead player of that turn is going to decide where the pepper features in the next 3. So let's just say, okay, I think my opponent would like that pepper and they don't have any bees, so I'm going to place that pepper number 1 and I'm going to seed the rest as so. So we play through turns of 5 each, and that consists of a round. So you're going to place 5 vegetables onto your garden, and at the end of that round, these tokens will have built up. So and the way they build up is the card that was left, in this case it was the pepper, will have that number value I was talking about. In this case it's 1, so I would go into the bag, search for a token and place it on the character who matches the token. At the end of the round, we're going to look and see if there's any one of those characters that have more tokens than the others. If there's a draw, then it doesn't matter. But let's just say that one didn't come out. So this chappy here, Lord Carrot Body, had the most. He is going to come and do something now to us. So what Lord Carrot Body does is he doesn't like when other vegetables are planted next to carrots. So he's going to take the vegetable with the highest vegetable number adjacent to a carrot. So in my garden here, I've only really got one vegetable adjacent, so he's going to take that pepper away from me, so I would lose that. What could have happened, let's just say my garden was something like this, and let's do that to make it even more of a pain in the bottom. So what's going to happen now is the beans with the highest number, which is 41, he's going to take those away. All of a sudden, those beans that I've got left are not going to score at all for me in terms of adjacency. If there was no vegetables adjacent to carrots, what Lord Carrotbody then does is he will choose the vegetable of the highest number regardless. So he's going to get you whatever, and all of them do similar sort of things to your garden. At the end of that third round, it's time for scoring. And the way the scoring works is, for instance, let's put the beans back in there. So for those beans, because there were 6 points, but only if they're adjacent. So all of a sudden, these beans are worth 18 points to me. My carrots are worth 9 points because they're worth 3 points each because they're all adjacent. If that had happened, then I wouldn't be scoring anything at all. You also have some set patterns which they try and get you to match. So if you have the same vegetable in all 4 corners of your garden, you're going to get 12 points. This one is called the avenue. So the first and the 6th column are all the same vegetables. Then you're going to score points. This is the promenade. They want you to have that layout. So 2 of the same, 2 of the same, 2 of the same. And there's the big one is the mixed plot. If you manage to get exactly 3 types of vegetable in each of your 3 rows, then you're going to score a whopping 30 points for that. There are a couple of expansions. We have the Romancing Eudora, because Eudora Brassica is Mr. Cabbagehead's girlfriend. And we do have a Grasshopper expansion in the box. And that was Mr. Cabbagehead's garden. If you enjoyed this, please go to our YouTube channel for more videos just like this covering a whole range of games. And for more in-depth coverage of board gaming, please go to our podcast, The Game Pit, wherever you get your podcast from. Thank you very much for watching.